The old port, the heartbeat of Marseille. This ancient Mediterranean melting pot is famous for its tolerance, but the fear is laissez-faire has become anything goes. Armed robbery up 40%, mugging 50%, and a spate of drug-related shootings in broad daylight. The past year has seen a wave of violent crime and antisocial behaviour that's touched the very centre of town. Most French cities are divided between the rich centre and the poor suburbs, but here tough estates are scattered citywide. In the impoverished north, the youth unemployment rate often tops 1 in 2, and the problems stretch beyond the tower blocks. At first glance, this corner of the 15th arrondissement with its church and sunny square could pass for a pretty Provençal village. But here you're more likely to come across drugs and petty crime than second homeowners sipping rosé. Patrick has lived here for 30 years.
This is the dodgiest neighbourhood in Marseille. It's called Les Crottes. It's been abandoned. It's nobody's fault, really. It's just hidden away. Nobody knows it. Nobody sees it.
The buildings in the neighbourhood are crumbling and residents complain of poor living conditions. Most lack the means to move away and exist on society's margins.
Anybody from here who goes over to the old port is recognised and stopped by the police. If you don't have everything in order, they take you in. But who's got everything in order here? You need money for that, and we're all in the crap.
Traditional job opportunities at the port and in nearby factories have dried up, and public services are scant. Les Crottes inhabitants are out on a limb, and Patrick's worried about the future for his 12 children.
There's one over there, look. I'm grossing you up. Oi, Kevin, you little brat. We can see you. The other's over there. I'm proud of him, he's a rapper. I've got more too.
Police sirens are common, foot patrols less so, and the square is left to its own devices. Patrick's son Johnny is 22 and seems to run the show round here.
All of a sudden you're in the street, and it's up to you to survive. You're not going to work for the minimum wage, 1,200 euros. So you make do as you want and try not to hurt anyone.
Johnny says that given the lack of prospects, it's no surprise that young people seek alternative sources of income, dealing drugs and stealing from local businesses.
It's about getting by. Guys sell dope. You get stupid kids stealing. It's complicated. The truth is, it's like Robin Hood. You take from the rich and give to the poor.
Savoir ce que je fous de ma vie, rien de magnifique la mise. Je suis du genre à tourner tard la nuit, m'enfumer, squatter les endroits de la ville. Cassos dans l'âme, tous les jours dans le halam, je bois la tasse. De la résine dans le crâne, alcoolisé, je vire en zrac, viens en vrac. 2011, le 13 te fais riguer. Je rappe pas là, allez tous vous faire niquer. Trop de haine et de méfiance, car mes soi-disant rap ne veulent pas me voir avancer. Yeah.
Johnny's Robin Hood mentality is writ large on the Marseille landscape. The well-to-do live away from the city's north, but that doesn't make them safe from crime. And the thieves aren't just targeting banks and jewellery shops. Neighbourhood stores are also at risk. Greengrocer Henri has been robbed 3 times in a year. On one occasion, 6 heavily armed men stormed into the family home. Henri was repeatedly smashed in the face with the butt of a rifle. His wife and son awoke with knives held to their throats.
The police are working with reduced staff right now. They're trying to do their job, but they are snowed under. The second time I was robbed, they were told straight away, but it took them half an hour to show up.
The experience has left Henri's 16-year-old son traumatised, unable to sleep alone. His wife says she wants to leave the city. Henri tells us his family will stay for the sake of his livelihood, but he's taking drastic precautions.
I'm organizing my own security. In the morning, I try to travel with armed professionals. And in the evening, I've got a gun at home. I'm taking shooting lessons. You never know what might happen.
An armed greengrocer, a stark example of the climate of fear that exists here. It's not just the violence of Marseille's crime wave that shocks citizens, but the fact that many of its perpetrators are so young. For the man charged with bringing the city's miscreants to book, the legal solutions go only so far.
The law regarding minors says we cannot put under 16s in prison. So we have other answers, like education.
With the number of minors convicted up 20%, Monsieur Dallest says changing mentalities among the young is vital, but that's no easy task in a city where old habits die hard.
In this town, people have trouble respecting collective values, laws and rules. Some don't see anything wrong with being double or triple parked, or with throwing rubbish anywhere. It's part of this romantic anything goes vision of Marseille. But if anything goes, you can't be surprised with the consequences. For example, the car park.
The facility in question sits in the Port d'Aix district, a major entry point to the city and home to the regional authority. For years, the area was the shame of Marseille, a hotbed of illegal commerce and casual theft. Cue a major regeneration effort, ruined this summer when a group of youths effectively stole the local car park. They intimidated the private contractors who ran it into leaving, manned the barriers themselves and pocketed a flat rate of €5 per vehicle. Now security guards look after the premises 24 hours a day.
People were scared to come here with their families. You couldn't even do your shopping. People from other towns like Montpellier and Nîmes were frightened off. System's to blame. The police came by and saw the youths take over the car park. But they said nothing. All that, right in front of the regional government headquarters. It's crazy.
These days, the 49-space car park's probably the best protected in France. This after the story hit the national headlines and provoked government fury. Marseille's police chief losing his job.
There's a van of CRS riot police here, the municipal police over there, and more CRS over there. They're not just here for the car park, there's also the hawkers and traffickers. They're here to restore order.
Security's certainly improved, but come 7 p.m. the riot police head back to base. And it's not long before the Port d'Aix's famous illegal markets again fill the pavements. Back in the very centre of the city, the police have decided to go for maximum visibility. They've introduced special patrols to crack down on delinquency and antisocial behaviour. The superintendent Mariam Benrala leads her team through the main shopping area. It's clear not even minor infractions are being tolerated.
Hello, madam. I'm afraid you're going to have to leave. You can't stay here. You've already been told that you can't beg here with your child, so move along. That's one of the problems here. People begging with young kids.
The patrols working in conjunction with the CRS, France's most feared police service, deployed on the high street. Up the road, some youths attract the officers' attention.
Shall we control them?
No, we can't. No motive.
They're a bit noisy, but yeah, no motive.
We're just keeping an eye on them. They're on the street, but they're not really causing any trouble.
Maybe we should go and see them anyway. Tell them to calm down a bit.
I don't think so.
They just called us dumbasses.
Okay, let's go.
Bonjour, messieurs, mesdemoiselles.
This is the superintendent's first job in the force, and she calls for reinforcements. As an ID check gets underway, about 20 officers suddenly arrive from the surrounding streets. A crowd gathers, and onlookers are not impressed with the police's approach.
It's not right. 4 kids hanging out in the street and suddenly a load of police turn up. On the other side of town there are shootings everywhere in northern districts and elsewhere. It's not safe. So why 25 cops for 4 kids in front of a shop?
In the end, the youths are simply told to calm down and move on.
Well, given their attitude, I asked for reinforcements. In the end, we didn't need them, but it shows that when you ask for backup in Marseille, you get it.
There's certainly no shortage of backup in this part of the city centre. Critics claim the saturation policing here is a stunt from the politicians, who see votes in high-profile law and order measures. The police, however, say they're simply responding to the concerns of residents and businesses who want to see more officers on the beat.
The solution is a constant police presence. We have to be there all the time. But daily operations are no problem, and that's what we're doing.
A constant presence because those cleared from the streets simply return in the wake of the police. Meanwhile, in this urban sprawl, it's impossible to patrol all of the streets all of the time, leaving plenty of opportunities for the city's Robin Hoods.